This is Matrix Lord 212, and I want to talk about the classic Doctor Who series, the episode called The Three Doctors. And what I basically want to do with this video is I want to explain and show the comparisons from the Three Doctors episode up until how it connects to series 5, 6, and 7. Alright? Now, for fans that don't have not seen the classic series, The Three Doctors was a monumental episode, okay? Because this was the episode where the Time Lords had violated the first law of time. The first law of time basically states that you cannot encounter your past self. You cannot cross into your own time stream and interact with yourself. But there was a problem with this black hole absorbing all this energy, and the Time Lords needed help. Okay, now the Doctor sent a distress call first to alert them. And they could not help him. So the only thing that they could do is to violate the first law of time, and they tried to pair him up with his second and his first incarnation. It was later revealed that the Time Lord Omega, which, you know, they weren't Time Lords back then, they were Gallifreyans, but Omega was the engineer behind making time travel possible by exploding a sun and making it go supernova. In doing this, he enabled the Time Lords to become Time Lords and give them the power of time travel, but he trapped himself into the antimatter universe. Now, where the Time Lords praised him almost like a hero, like a god, he was trapped and imprisoned, and he thought that the Time Lords abandoned him. Okay, and this is where this is very interesting. Okay, because through the black hole, he was absorbing all the energy. He was trying to find a way to connect to our world, the antimatter universe, to our world. Okay, he could not come himself from the antimatter universe here, so he's trying to find a way where he could leave the antimatter universe, but he had to leave someone in his place. Now, what's very interesting about the beginning of this episode is that it starts off and it shows a pond. It also shows ducks in the duck pond. It shows the bird tweets. And you may think that this is nothing actually, but it was kept throughout the episode. It was like something is alerting the birds. You know, and basically what I said in previous videos is all the bird tweets were the signal for the coming of Omega. Now, what's very interesting in this episode is it's very similar to Series 5 with the cracks in the wall. There's 2 points in time that you never have touched. You know, a universe with matter, a universe with antimatter. You know, and in Three Doctors episode, they have a thing called singularity, where you know, the Doctor and all his companion and his friends are able to exist in this antimatter universe, is able to have a planet that exists where it shouldn't in this universe because of a singularity. Now, you know, Omega did appear in later on episodes, but I thought that this was very, very closely tied to Series 5, and maybe Stephen Moffat was watching this, as well as Russell T Davies, because the first person that the Doctor encounters is a Dr. Tyler, a Professor Tyler. Now, I find that this is very interesting, and I don't know if this character is related to Rose in any way, if it's a grandfather or great-grandfather. But I also find the fact of the appearance of a pond, a river, ducks in a duck pond, the bird tweets, and also, you know, the dark corners of the mind, where Omega's like, I'm going to make you encounter the dark part of my mind, which is very similar to what they've hinted at many times with the Value and the Doctor, that you know, the Doctor is you know, the Value is made up of the dark corners of his mind, the dark part of himself that was given form. You know, when we see this with the Dream Lord episode as well, which could be a precursor to the Value. But it's very, very interesting if you really pay attention to this episode. And I even mentioned the Big Bang too, because of things that happened in the episode. But it's very closely tied, I believe, to Series 5. And I think that you could make a case to say that it is possible that Omega is the big fish for Series 5, 6, and 7. And also they talk about Omega, and they talk about how through his sheer force of will, he was able to survive when he shouldn't have. And when the doctors went to remove his helmet, there was nothing there, meaning that his will was there. He had no physical form. And you could also look at this from the End of Time episode, because this is what the Time Lords would become. They would have no physical bodies. They would just be consciousness, but for some reason that consciousness with Omega was housed inside the armor. You take the armor away and there's nothing to hold the consciousness, so and he would just probably evaporate. So all these episodes, the new series, everything is tied to the three doctors, okay? And you just have to really, really pay attention. I mean, the cracks in the wall, why did they appear? Were they created so that way Omega could find a way to escape? And you also got to think about Rory too. Rory was erased from existence, yet through his sheer force of will, he lived, and he was a Roman soldier, and he became a robot, and all these crazy, crazy things. Almost like his consciousness went inside a robot, sort of like Omega's consciousness was housed inside his armor. And even for a while, I even speculated, well, maybe Rory Williams is a Time Lord, and maybe Rory Williams is Omega. Okay, because even in the God complex, you can make a case for that too, because something really bothered the doctor that Rory said when he was talking in the past tense when he should have been talking in the present tense. So there's a lot of factors you really got to look at. The fact that even in the Gangers episode, Rory basically announced that he was more than human when he touched that computer. Also, when the doctor says, "Don't touch this because no human could touch this because the acid would burn their flesh off." Well, Rory touched it and his flesh didn't burn off. So this is why so many times I believed that that whole theory about River Song just being able to regenerate and being a child of the TARDIS, and it just didn't fly with me because a lot of factors. I paid attention to a lot of episodes, and if you go back to Journey's End 2, the human doctor says that he's human. He has one heart, and therefore he cannot regenerate. He will grow old and die as a normal flow. Now, he also states, it's also stated too that a Time Lord consciousness cannot be housed in a human body. So here's the really thing you got to think about, okay? The whole thing is that, one, with Donald Noble, she couldn't handle it and she was going to burn up. Same thing is going to happen to the human doctor, because he's going to go mad and he may become the Valiant, okay? So, and also too, this goes to show too that if River Song was human, okay, from Rory and Amy, technically from the episodes that come before, a human cannot regenerate because the body cannot take it. The body can't take housing a consciousness, let alone the massive, massive pain and agony it would cause from regeneration. The Time Lord physiology is very important because it's not just about, it's because I believe that the two hearts make it possible to survive a regeneration. Also, their brain capacity is stronger to deal with the pain. They're able to control pain a lot better. Look at the Master dealing with the drums constantly. And even though he's going mad, he stood alive for how long? The Doctor, when he was infected in the Unicorn and the Wasp, was able to expel the poison, and counteract it to survive. Just like, in the Smith and Jones, where he was able to get rid of the radiation. The Time Lord physiology is not, it's not human. I mean, it's massively strong. I mean, you even see the Doctor's daughter, and you see how she's stronger as a Time Lord. She can leap around, and you know what? The classification and the labeling. I'm not into labeling and classification, but some will say, okay, she's not a Time Lord because she didn't go to school. Okay, she's not Gallifreyan because she did not live on Gallifrey. Okay, well, there's humans throughout the galaxy in the Doctor Who universe, and they're called humans. So, I mean, what are you going to call River Song, okay? I mean, you're going to say that she's human? Well, every episode that we've seen points to the fact that she can't be human because she would not be able to survive the regeneration process, okay? So she needs all that Time Lord DNA. She needs the two hearts. She needs the strong mind. She's also a strong person. I mean, she has strength. I mean, to survive all these different things as a human. And she's very, very intelligent too. She has like almost like a Time Lord consciousness where she's able to figure out different things. She's able to figure out in her head what will happen if she breaks a fixed point in space and time. So this is why my theory is that no, River Song is not a human. And she's a Time Lord. Well, or Gallifreyan, or whatever you want to call it, with two hearts and everything. Okay, but now we're getting off topic. I also made a play too. I mean, the fact that, one of River's parents would have to be a Time Lord. You also got to take into effect too that maybe the goal was to create a Time Lord, so that way that Time Lord will replace Omega. And here's the thing, that if Rory was Omega, okay, and he was housed inside a body temporarily or whatever, and he keeps dying for some reason, maybe because he can't stay in this universe, then, River Song is the granddaughter of Omega. And, it's very similar, like Three Doctors, in a way, to Silent in the Library, because just like Omega was trapped in the antimatter universe, and he could not leave because if he left, he would not be able to control the antimatter universe and it would fall apart. So too, River Song is also trapped in her own kind of antimatter universe, but it's not antimatter, it's the library matrix. And she has no form either. She's pure consciousness, just like Omega, trapped in the library. So this is why also too, I do believe that River Song will find a way out of the library, just like Omega will find a way out of the antimatter universe. And I do believe he's behind the Silence. I do believe that the Silence are creatures that were made somehow from his intervention with people working for him in this reality. And that's what I think. I think the church that is following Omega. So it's a very important video that if you pay attention to what I'm talking about, and you guys could debate this all day long, which is fun, But like I said, I do believe that one, Omega is the big fish. Omega is connected to Series 5, 6, and 7. He is the big fish, the main nemesis behind everything. He's behind the Dream Lord. The Dream Lord will be working for him because he's the one that put the pollen there in the first place that reached the Doctor. So somehow he made the Doctor's evil side escape and was given form. And I do believe that the Dream Lord will become the Valyard. And if he doesn't, I do believe the second choice is that the human Doctor will become the Valyard because, his mind cannot house a Time Lord consciousness, and if Rose dies, he will not be able to handle it. So he will probably snap. And, if he does have a TARDIS, which was cut from the cutting room floor on that episode, then, of course, he would find a way to come to the Doctor's universe and go all the way back to Trial of the Time Lord and take his regenerations to survive. So, like I said, the Three Doctors, watch it and then comment on this video. Alright, now I'm going to share this video with the Facebook website Say No to the BBC, Cutting Back Doctor Who, because I posted the other video about River Song on there, and I fully expect Dr. Freedom to look at this video and tell me in his opinion where I'm right and where I'm wrong. Now, I do believe that, as I stated in the other video, that if River Song would risk everything to save the Doctor, I do believe that the Doctor will save River Song from the library. And if her body did not have, if it was just skeleton, even skeletons, I wouldn't see him leaving the skeleton because, they state that, they have to burn the Time Lord so that way nobody could take their DNA, nobody could create an army, nobody could do all this stuff. So, if there was nothing left, I still feel that the Doctor will, maybe he has her DNA, and maybe he could give the DNA to the nanogenes to recreate River Song, and even the library matrix has enough energy, just like it had to all of a sudden make all the humans' consciousness go into the library and then all of a sudden recreate their body. So there has enough energy to recreate River Song. But also keep in mind too that the journal was outside the library and not inside. So the fact that she had the journal inside is a big, big key. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.